Going back to the early days of the live stream when every week had DJI news, we got some DJI news.
Yeah, we do have DJI news. And it's interesting. This is step one in the process of compatibility
We
for the
hope.
new hardware. Yeah, hopefully. DJI has just updated today to add Avata 2 support for the Goggles 2 and the Goggles Integra. And along with that support, you'll also be able to use that DJI Motion 2 and the DJI FPV Controller 2 when used with the Goggles Integra and the Goggles 2.
Mm-hmm. And I had to look at this a little bit, Blunty, because I wanted to really understand exactly what was going on here. And basically what DJI has done is now people with the G2 generation of hardware, so that is the Goggles 2, the Integra, the Motion Controller 2, and the FPV Controller 2, can use the Avata 2.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
if you wanted the Avata 2, but you hadn't bought it because you didn't want to buy the Goggles 3 and all the new stuff, you just wanted the drone, now you can. And it'll work.
Absolutely.
So what is this not? This is not people who bought the Avata 2 and the Goggles 3 getting backwards compatibility to the O3, for example, which I know people want. Right?
Yep. Yeah, this does not... This doesn't give O3 compatibility on the Goggles 3, and this doesn't introduce any information about the O4 air unit, which we were hoping to get a little bit of teaser about as well.
So that's it's interesting to me. I mean, obviously, DJI might just be doing it in stages, but it is interesting to me because, like, it still leaves open maybe the possibility that they don't introduce backwards compatibility for the G3, which, to be clear, I think they're going to introduce backwards compatibility, but the fact that they released forwards compatibility for the last generation, but not backwards compatibility, does make me kind of wonder, like, what's going on there? I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I do think, again, this is similar to the original release strategy we saw, which is where we got some compatibility with the goggles, and then we got the release of the new air unit, which would come next. So the O4 would get announced. And then, like, if it goes like last time, and then after that gets launched, then we would get backwards compatibility with the O3s and the new goggles, if it happens to follow the same pattern as last time.
This is interesting, though, because I just realized this, and thanks to a comment from, let's see, who was the comment? Oh, I can't find the comment. Doesn't matter. Sorry, commenter. But this does confirm that the G2 is compatible with the O4 air unit. Although we don't have a standalone O4 air unit yet, the Avata 2 does have the O4 air unit in it, and it confirms that the G2 is at least capable of being compatible with it.
We did know that technically, but yes, I agree. But it's also limited to 40. Yeah, I mean, we're using the same chips, just different ways. Like, you know. But it is only 40 megahertz instead of the larger, what is it, like 60 megahertz or whatever the new O4 is. So when you use the Avata 2 on the Goggles 2 Integra, it goes down to 40 is your max.
So that's 50 megabits per second, whereas I think it's 60 megabits per second for the G3. So you're losing a little bit of image quality, but I don't think anybody's going to really think.
I think, isn't it 50, but it's just better, or is it 60? Well, I thought it was 50 on the Avata 2, but it's like better now, and we're trying to figure out why they need. Oh, is it 60? But it's actually 60. Room for 75. That's what it was. Yeah,
maybe
because 60 megahertz would give you room for 75.
Assuming a linear increase, yes, and all the other ones are a linear increase. But my memory is that it's 60. Just I'm like vaguely remembering a DJI like PowerPoint I was given that said 60, or maybe I'm just making that number up. But so exciting. Not as exciting as it could have been, but still exciting.
Hopefully the first step. It does mean that anybody who's interested in this and bought into the last gen doesn't feel left out anymore, hopefully, and they could purchase the Avata 2 now to use with their old hardware, which is part of the promise that we hoped would happen with supporting their hardware in the future. So,
and also, let's not forget the people who got screwed by this are the people who owned the G2 and the RC controller 2 maybe, and the motion controller 2 maybe, and they wanted the Avata 2 so bad that they bought the whole $1,000 kit, and now they have a G3 and an RC controller 3 and a motion controller 3 that if they had just waited a mere like month, they could have saved their money. But that's what you get for like, you come on. When you put your credit card down on release day, you knew you were going to get screwed, right? Like you knew.
Yeah, so. I think so. I mean,
yeah.
If you've got all that hardware, you have to know that it's possible it's going to be compatible in the future.
Yeah, so. You just didn't want to wait. Okay. Okay, well, yay for that, and hopefully we'll have more about that in the future when eventually the 04 comes out.